Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, everybody. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the Business Plug, and you've just tuned in to the Business Plugs Mixer. Thank you for joining us here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at 7 p.m. ish Eastern Time to engage in business conversations for business people. That's what we're talking about today. Today, I have a wonderful guest for you, but before I introduce her, let me tell you, are you waiting to get certified? Is your business certified at the state and at the local level? And is it certified at the federal level? That's what we're doing. It is time to get certified. We're in the middle of a strong grant season. And in order to get to those grants from government sectors, you have to be listed. You need a sam.gov. You need to be registered with your state. You need to be registered with your city. So that's what we're doing. If you're interested in that, click the link that's in the bio and we will get you hooked up and get you certified as soon as possible. It takes a while to get some of the certifications done. So it may be your 2024 goals, but in any case, getting started is part of the job. So you have to get started and get certified and get this grant money that's out here. The statistics say 31% of grant money is given in December. And we want to get all of those that we can. So with that being said and done, I have appeased my accounting staff. They know that I did my homework. Now I'm ready to introduce you all to Dr. Vanessa Enoch. Hello, Dr. Enoch.
Hi there. How are you?
I am great today, and let me tell you, thank you. So if you get where this becomes difficult, we're okay. You do what you have to do, but thank you fighting COVID and agreeing to come on and talk to us about the cultural impact.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm feeling much better and I'm on the mend. But I'll tell you, it is nothing to play with, that COVID. So,
Oh, bless your heart, bless
yeah.
your heart. But yeah, so tell us about Dr. Enoch, and then tell us about cultural impact.
Dr. Enoch, I am the mother of two beautiful adult daughters. One is in law school at Howard University
Yay,
in
the Howard.
And then my youngest daughter is she is at Texas Southern University in Houston,
Okay.
and so both of them are doing very well, and I'm proud of them. And I am, of course, a business owner. Been in business for 25 years, I think it is next month. And
Hmm.
so been around for a long time in business, but I am also a candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives. I was the Democratic nominee the past couple of election cycles, but due to gerrymandering in the state of Ohio, it has been a rough hill to climb, but we
Hmm.
continue to press on. And so I've got my hands in a number of areas in addition to being a business owner. And so, as a business owner, my business is we have about anywhere from 7 to 10 staff at any given time. But we can talk a little bit more about our services and as we get going.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what started cultural impact? Like, how did you get to here?
That is such a good question, and it is one that is an interesting story. Actually, I started out as a just doing consulting work while I worked in corporate America. I was at GE, and in 1999, and friends were calling upon me to help their friends in different aspects of business, and I would do those things as a hobby, and then eventually people were saying, oh, you got to get paid for this, and I wasn't interested in even being paid at first. I was just helping people out. And then in a few years later, I actually ended up losing my job during the time that I was
Mm.
pregnant. I was 9 months pregnant with my youngest daughter, and they told me that I could not qualify for unemployment because they didn't consider me able to work as a pregnant woman. And
Mm.
so, I had bills to pay. So it was in my ninth month of pregnancy that I went full scale, launched a business, and began to take clients. I was actually building my business on the hospital bed.
Mm,
Literally, I was working and doing things to launch my business, and I continued to teach at that time, and I was teaching college, and I ramped up the number of colleges I taught at. I was teaching at 5 different college campuses,
mm.
and I was, well, teaching 5 classes at 3 different campuses at that time. And so I took over as department chair eventually, but it was history after that. I figured I would do better um, providing jobs for people than I would sitting around waiting on a job to come to me at 9 months pregnant. So yeah,
I tell you, the things that moms do, right? The things
absolutely,
that we do what we have to do,
absolutely,
especially when you have other mouths to feed. Like we don't
exactly,
have downtown,
exactly.
downtime to do that. Absolutely. So you started so, and I love because I can so relate to. I was just doing it because I worked. I had a gravy job. I call it my gravy job because I was making more money than I ever made, and I was
Mhm,
working in corporate America. And then for my situation, when they implemented Obamacare, I lost my job.
mhm,
And so people say, "Oh, I knew that was a bad plan," and I'm like, "No, no, no, it's not that because that's the same program that saved my niece's life.
mhm.
She was diagnosed with breast cancer,
Wow,
and because she had just lost her employment and insurance and everything, Obamacare allowed her to get treatments and medicines for
wow,
free.
wow.
And so she's still with us. So I
Yes,
consider that a trade-off, right? But
yes,
then it does force you to think about, okay, how can I monetize these skill sets that I've been given away?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you
So,
learn quickly, you learn quickly. I was married at the time. My husband since passed away,
uh,
but while just losing an income, either of us, if either of us had lost an income, it puts us in a very, very critical position.
absolutely.
So, I immediately swung into action and said, okay, we're going to get this money. And I'll tell you what, it was my grandmother's teaching that
Mm,
enabled me to have the wherewithal to even become an entrepreneur.
mm,
My grandmother used to tell us when we were younger, she said, there will come a time that you're not going to be able to rely on somebody to provide you with a job. You'll have
mm,
to create your own job. And she led the way. She showed us, how to make money. My grandmother used to do hair. She made up faces at the funeral home.
mm,
She watched people's kids. She baked cakes, all of that stuff, and was never in anybody's employ. My mom said my grandmother worked for 5 years in somebody's employ. And
mm.
the rest of that time, she provided her own income. She hustled.
Yeah.
So that's who I watched. My grandmother raised me, and that's who I watched. And when times got tough, I had been shown the way. This is what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
Things when things get tough.
Absolutely, absolutely. My great grandparents are the reason I'm in entrepreneurship because when I did an ancestry.com search, DNA search,
Mhm.
and I found their census records from 1920 where they came out of slavery on a
Mhm.
property in Kenner, Louisiana.
Wow.
And then after he passed, she became a boarder,
Oh,
her kids meet by written rooms.
yes.
I was like, well, who am I to let down their legacy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because our ancestors inspire us. They do show us the way, whether
Yes.
living or deceased. The
Yes.
record shows what they did, and we learn from what they did.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm also a genealogy buff. So one thing that I found is my grandmother she also had a border, and I thought that was actually very strange. And when I did a search on the guy who it says was boarding at her house,
Mhm.
and it turned out he was a relative. So I
Mm,
think even back then, I think sometimes the way that they identify people who live in the household that were not part of the immediate family,
mhm.
called them boarders as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, 'cause in this instance, there's one great grandson.
Hmm.
There's one grandson that's on that record, and to my knowledge, my grandmother was their only child, right? And I'm
Oh,
like, okay, so whose grandson is this?
oh
And
yes.
it turns out that they had another daughter, and her name was Josephine. And
Mm.
I've met Josephine's great grandchildren
Oh wow. Wow.
through ancestry.com.
That's awesome.
We connected. And so,
Yes.
yeah, and so I got to learn about a relative that I had never heard anything about. No one talked about her.
Wow.
And so she was the missing relative.
Wow. Yeah, I've actually gotten pictures of like my grandmother when she was a little girl just as a result, and people who were not related to her,
Hmm.
when they saw my grandmother's name connected to somebody else, they said, "Oh, wait a minute. We know that family and we have photographs
Ah,
your grandmother." And I'm like, wow, I absolutely love the genealogy searches and the stuff
absolutely.
that, we find out and learn about our family
Yeah,
members. It's awesome. I do enjoy that.
absolutely. So that was my paternal side. My
Mhm.
maternal side, the only picture we have of my maternal grandmother is her mugshot from the night where she killed our grandfather.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
That's the only picture we have of her, period. But
Wow.
we've heard of the stories.
Oh my
And
goodness.
as much as we can tell, mental illness is in our family due to her.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's
it's been interesting learning more and more about her. And as far as we can tell, she was undiagnosed and untreated.
oh, wow.
So
Wow.
yeah,
That's crazy.
I
Just
know it.
you learn some things. You
But you
learn.
learn some things, and good, bad, or indifferent, it
Yes.
still empowers us to know,
Yes.
because I have relatives who have similar diagnoses,
Yes. Yes.
and they're in treatment.
Yes. Yes. And
And
that
who
is
knows?
important, right?
Yeah,
You understand what you're inheriting, you can get help and you learn and figure it out, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And so, learning how the DNA system works. And also I met Dr. Gina Page personally, who
Mhm.
she's the co-founder of African Ancestry.
Oh, wow.
And it has the largest, yeah, check it out, africanancestry.com.
Oh, wow.
Dr. Gina Page and her partner, they actually have the biggest database of African DNA. And
Wow.
so I've been able to track my mother's people back to their origin in Cameroon, the Takar people in Cameroon.
Now that's interesting because my grandfather's people, um, came from Cameroon. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
part of my grandfather's brothers and sisters, their people came, yeah, from Cameroon. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, I've had the blessing to go and speak in Cameroon. Once I found out where she came from, I asked God, could I go see it?
Oh,
And one of my Caucasian friends does a missionary work over there. And a couple of years ago, November, she went for they have some type of conference there, and she was on her way back home, and she said, God told me to tell you that you need to prepare to come to Cameroon.
oh, wow. Did she know
And
about your family's heritage?
no,
Oh, wow.
she
What
didn't know. She didn't
what
know. She didn't know about my prayer too, asking him, "Could I
wow.
put my feet on the soil of my ancestors?"
Wow, we need to call her up and see if God told her anything about where I gotta go next because I need to travel.
I was not able to go to the part where my grandmother's people are,
Mhm.
my great grandmother's people are, but the people who I went to visit, and we're still connected, actually knew the Takar people, so they
Oh,
could tell me things about my people. They come
oh,
the part
wow.
of Cameroon that they were in was Warras. And
Oh,
so they were having all kind of things. He said, you can't go up there, but let me just tell you about them. And so I had a great, wonderful celebration, still connected to them. And then my father's people are the Bisa people from Burkina Faso.
oh,
I
wow.
had never heard of that.
Now, I've not been able to I mean, my grandfather's family members from Cameroon, I know about them, but I've never been able to really trace our family that far back.
And
You know,
so African ancestry, so you
mhm,
can find your father's side and your mother's side. They use the maternal mitochondria
mm,
DNA,
mhm,
and a guy that has the same as your father
mhm.
can take that side for your dad, and
Mm.
then I took the side for my mother. So
Wow.
my nephew, because both my brothers had passed,
Mhm.
and so my brother's son, my nephew took it for my dad's side, and
Wow.
so I was able to find both sides of my family's DNA.
Wow, that's
But
awesome.
African ancestry it is more expensive, but the beauty of it is that one test goes for you and everyone on your lineage. So you don't have to have everybody get their own test. Like
Right.
with ancestry, everybody gets their own test.
Mhm.
But with African ancestry, it goes for the family. Like the aunts, the cousins, the mom, the brothers, the sisters, like everybody on that lineage.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was eye opening. I couldn't go there because yeah, they have high crime rates over there. I was
Oh,
like, okay, let's not do that. Let's
wow.
just study them from afar. But the
Right.
being able to go to Cameroon, and I actually lived in Douala. I visited my hostess in Douala, the financial capital of Cameroon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, now how long were you there?
I was there 3 days, but
Oh,
it took me so I flew out of New York, 5 hours, and then I landed in Casablanca, Morocco, and did a 32-hour layover there, and
mm,
then took another 3-hour flight to Cameroon.
oh, wow. Now, I used to live in South Africa. So I was over there 2 months ago. I was in Johannesburg, and I also, got to go back to Swaziland. I lived in Swaziland as well.
Mm,
Yeah, so I've been on the continent and touched the
I
soil,
love it. I
but
love it.
I can't get enough. I'll be going back next year as, a friend of mine is getting married next year over there, so I'll be back. Yeah.
Oh, great, great, great. But there's nothing like it. The experience, like you get when you look at American history, part of it makes you feel like our history didn't start until slavery.
Yeah, it does.
But then
Yes.
when you go over there and you see that no, our groups of people are
Mhm.
still in existence,
Yes.
and they've been given the same lines we were given
Yes.
about, the American people don't recognize you, the American people, this, that, and the other. And then being able to dispel those rumors and to have actually connect with a body of people. Because I have
Yes.
a church over there, church friends, and everybody over there that
Yes.
are my people. When they found out that I took a DNA test, they're like, "Oh, you're one of us."
Yes.
But
Yes. Yes.
loving, I mean, like loved on and just cherished, and even now they call me Mother Linda.
Oh,
But
wow.
even
Yeah.
now, I'm still connected to those young people. It's amazing. It is
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so let's talk about the impact that you have on this side of the waters, ma'am.
Okay, let's talk.
So you help people get their skills.
Yeah, so we do a number of things. My business, we have, 4 core areas of business, which include financial services. We sell technology products, and we do technology services. We do a lot of technology integrations. We also do, like, Lord have mercy, just that quick. We do web design and web integrations. Um, we even assist people with just all kinds of technology integrations as well. We
Yeah.
sell technology, services such as web hosting, web security. In addition to that, we do, training and development through our organizational development side. We provide assessments, organizational assessments. So we are value added associates for TTISI products. So
Okay.
that is some of those personality tests and inventories to determine, we what we do is we utilize those tools to look at your team and figure out what skills the people on your team have, how well they get along with one another, determined by where they fit in the grand scheme of things. And so we do those assessments, and we also do strategic planning. So we provide a number of services. Under our financial services, we do bookkeeping and taxes. So we do a number of things. We do assist small businesses as well as larger businesses as well. So many of our clients are nonprofits and small businesses as well as churches. And we also provide, like I said, training and development for corporations.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so when we were talking, like we were talking about the different things, because a lot of the small business don't have a viable financial management system.
Yes, yes.
And we were talking about how it's important, especially if you're thinking about expanding and growing your business, that
Yes.
your finances, that's your bloodline.
The life's blood. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we work with a lot of small businesses as well. We provide the bookkeeping services, all the accounting and bookkeeping services for the Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky African American Chamber here. And one of the things that I notice is many Black businesses don't have bookkeeping services. They don't even utilize bookkeeping services. They don't utilize technology when it comes to invoicing clients. And I'm sure it is because of the small percentage that those services take, when you bill, and they want to, do all of their invoicing and stuff. They want to get free services. But I'll tell you what, those services can help keep you organized. And they're professional. And so when you're doing business with people, you want to do things that emulate what the rest of the business world is doing. It enables people to respect the quality of your business.
Absolutely. And the reporting, right? Because if I have a lot of people that say, oh, I don't have access to capital. Oh, I don't have access to capital. But then access to capital looks like a well-ran management system.
Exactly. And so I have a client that will tell you how important accounting services is now. She's been in business now for a year. And last year she started her business, and immediately we've established an accounting and bookkeeping system. And in October of this year, she had a former employee report her to the labor to the U.S., to the federal labor organization. And immediately she picked up the phone and said, here's what he needs. He needs all of my payroll records. He needs all of my time sheets. We also do her payroll. So if she did not do that in a professional manner and did not have her records in place, she could have been in a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah, because the Department of Labor does not play.
Exactly.
Most $10,000 fines, baby.
Yes. And so we were able to immediately provide her with everything she needed.
Yeah.
And in fact, she ended up, the guy that did the investigation was, they ended up being very social. He gave her some tips and pointers. He told her that, she had done an awesome job with putting all of these things in place early and upfront, because many business owners don't do that. And so, it was nothing for her but to pick up the phone and say, can you send me these reports? And it was a lot of reports that they asked for. And it just so happened that we were able to provide her with all of those things because she had her books in order.
Yeah.
So many businesses, they don't. And, when you have your books in order, when you have your back end, your organizational development in place, it also enables you to grow.
Yes.
Without those things in place, you can't grow. You're busy doing all of these little things, and you can't run your business.
Absolutely.
Yes, we always encourage people to make sure you get all of these things in place so that you can operate your business, and you can grow and bring in more revenue and resources.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is I'm working with businesses now so that these solopreneurs can understand who they need to hire first.
Hmm.
Right. And it's no one size fit all. It's
Exactly.
based on their individual businesses and what they are doing in their businesses that can be actually given to somebody that's a lower level so that they
Yes.
can learn how to grow these businesses.
Exactly, exactly. And I also, say that there are certain things in my business I should not be doing. I have a master's degree, a doctorate degree, and there's a certain level of work that when I start doing some of those tasks, I'm wasting our precious business resources when somebody who I pay less money than it would cost me to do those things can do them, and I can do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
So, people have to understand, if you are the person in your business that is the master in terms of the services that you offer, you don't want to be answering your telephones. You need somebody else to do that work so that you can be about the business of doing what you do. You have a lot of plumbers and all of and just our professional services like electricians and stuff,
Right. Specialized. Yeah.
who specialize in doing those things. And if they're at home handling their bookkeeping, they are losing the opportunity to be able to provide more services to somebody. You can put that in the hands of the professionals who do that work, and then you don't have to do it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is teaching. I'm trying my best to teach business owners about building customer journeys and the
Yes.
customer life value and
Yes.
those things about, not chasing customers,
Yes.
attracting customers and creating relationships that are long lasting. Like those things it takes to expand the business. A lot of the
Yes.
businesses that I find aren't ready for that because they simply don't have the systems in place to support that type of activity.
I met with a gentleman, and I guess they've been in business maybe just a couple of years, and they are looking to us to help with their social media marketing. They want to run
Mhm.
Google ads, they want to run ads on Facebook and on LinkedIn and Twitter and in various spaces. And one of the things that, when first of all, when we put together a proposal to show him this is what you should be spending on your marketing, anywhere from 4 to 10% of your business,
Mhm.
you need to be planning for marketing, to expenditures to pay for marketing your services, because if you're not marketing, no one knows you exist.
Exactly.
And how does that work? How you can't be in business if you don't have any customers. And
Right.
so, one of we sat down, and his eyes got big when he looked at the numbers. And I said, think of it this way. What I'm saying to you is, out of every dollar that you bring in, 4 cent to 10 cent of that dollar should be spent on your marketing. He says, yeah, that makes sense when you put it like that. But, considering our inventory and all of that kind of stuff, which is their capacity to make
Mhm.
money because they sell products.
Mhm.
He says, when you get up into the hundreds and a couple of thousand, then that's when I say, we can't afford to do that. Well, how are you going to sell your products? How do you sell your products if you're not doing any marketing? And so for some people, it's a difficult thing to consider, doing some of the things that they need to do in order to really truly be able to take their business somewhere and to make money doing what they do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's why you mentioned strategic planning
Right.
before. Like in 2024, the businesses that are not going to make it to 2025 are going to be those that are just throwing things against the wall
Yes,
for the most part,
you're right.
because it has to be strategic. You have to have a plan. It
Yes,
works better if you have a plan than it's very expensive. Just
yes,
throwing money against the wall and seeing what works. And,
yes,
and so I'm trying to encourage business owners to think about annual planning, Like, think about strategic planning in your business and
Yes.
work intentionally instead of just throwing something against the wall to see if it sticks.
And this is the time to do strategic planning. This
Yes.
is the time you should be thinking
Yes.
about, how are you going to run your business? And in the month of December, every year in the month of December, we do strategic planning. When it was just me, every month in the month of December,
Mm,
I did strategic planning.
absolutely.
So it's key to keeping you on track, to making sure you're increasing your revenue, to making sure you are cutting the fat and getting rid of the services that aren't making money. But you have to do it. And big businesses understand that. But they,
Absolutely.
but they were doing it when they were small businesses, and that's how they
That's
became.
how they became big businesses. And, I was listening to a guy that said, I was asking him, do you ever, once a year, do you stop and look at all your vendors and making sure that you're paying only what's necessary, right? But
Mhm.
a lot of businesses get comfortable in paying whatever the first price was. And then I see when people are selling for lower value, I mean, for same quality, but
Mhm.
lower cost, right? And I told them, you're a business owner. It is your job to every year assess how much you're spending.
Oh yeah,
Because a
yeah.
lot of times we think we have to raise the price and raise the price and to raise the price. If you could adjust how much you're spending for that cost of goods sold, you wouldn't have to raise your prices.
My very first customer, and she is deceased now. I ended up having an office space in her building for many years because we traded services. But my very first customer, when I started working with her and looking at her books, and she was doing everything on Excel spreadsheets,
Mm,
plugging things in at the end of the day, and it was a very inefficient way of doing business. But what I found when I started, looking at putting automating her systems and
mhm,
looking at what she was doing, is that she wasn't making any money.
mm,
In fact, every dime that came in the door, she was spending on, buying more products or paying people. And her business wasn't making a profit. She wasn't charging enough for her products and services.
mm,
And until we automated those processes and set her up on QuickBooks accounting system, she had no earthly idea that she wasn't making money. And
mm,
a lot of businesses operate like that. She'd been in business for 22 years when I started
mm.
working with her and had never really made any money.
And see, and that's the thing. They won't know that because they don't have the records or they don't understand how to read the reports that will tell them instantly that
Ex-
this is your profit. Especially if they have another source funding, like they work somewhere and
Mhm.
they're getting money in from over here.
Yeah,
So when they don't have money right here, they're pulling it from over here and they
exactly.
don't really ever see it.
Exactly. And have no earthly idea that they're really not making anything.
Yeah, I had a it was a bed and breakfast and they had been in business for 11 years and had never made a profit.
Yeah. Yeah.
11 years. I'm
And
like,
just for the people who are watching your program right now, you know, you need to know and understand that the reason businesses exist, the reason you're in business is to make a profit. It is
absolutely.
to make a profit. And if you're a nonprofit organizations can make money. The
They
difference
should.
between a nonprofit and a for-profit business is that the money has to come back into the business. The money you make over and above your service offerings have to go back into the business, into salaries or equipment or whatever supply.
Mhm.
You don't put it in your pocket. If you
Right.
are a for-profit business, then the money you make over and above your revenues minus your expenses, that's money that you can put in your pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing is, I can remember I went to look at another business and, they didn't have any processes in place, any automation. Everything was still manual.
Yes, yes, yes. And people don't understand how you're actually saving money by having automated processes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for when someone wants to set up an appointment with me, they put their information in on my calendar to set up the appointment. My video conferencing system sends them a link.
Yep.
They can pay their bill right there when they schedule that appointment.
Yep.
And then when it goes to my billing system automatically sends it to my bank account. I don't have to touch a thing. Do you know how much time that saves for people to have
Absolutely.
those processes automated? All I have to do is log in on the day of the meeting and have the meeting. You know,
And
it's
see,
time, and time is money.
you're right. You're right. Absolutely. And that's the thing. So I entitled this conversation Using Your Words, and that's based off your journalistic experiences, right?
Mhm,
Because I see people just posting and posting and posting and just every day posting something, right? Not
mhm,
talking to any particular person, but then talking
mhm.
to everybody.
Right, right, exactly,
And so
exactly.
teaching them about content
Yes,
on their
absolutely.
business pages and what that looks like.
Yeah, and who is your target market? You got to know who you're speaking with. You're absolutely right. You got to know who you're talking to. And I'll tell you what, speaking of automation, there are tools out there. We use AI.
Yes.
And when it comes to posting, it'll take us, we do a blog on our website. And when it comes to posting, where it might take some people hours and days, people fret having
Yeah.
to do a blog.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we do our blogs using AI. We let AI produce the framework and some content, and we go in and we put our touches on that.
Protect it. Absolutely. To
Yes,
make
so that
yours.
it's
Yeah.
ours, exactly. But it is invaluable tools. And I ask a lot of my clients, I'll ask them, do you use AI in your business? A lot of people are afraid of AI.
But they use GPS.
Exactly, exactly.
And when I say, well, your GPS is your GPS is AI. I mean,
Yes, yes, there are people who are afraid of GPS. I have a really close girlfriend, and when I first met her, she did not use GPS, and she got lost coming to my house, was lost for hours. And I said, "Well, why didn't you just put it in the GPS?" She said, "I don't mess with that kind of stuff," and you know, but she's also a business owner, by the way. And she expressed that she just didn't mess with technology like that. Well, she now uses a GPS because you can't be my friend long and not mess with technology.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm going to upgrade you. If you're
Mhm.
around me, I'm going to upgrade you
Yes.
because we're not taking advantage of things out of fear. It reminds me when computers first came out back in the 90s.
Mhm.
Um, the early 90s, and people thought you had to be real smart
Yeah.
to use a computer. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you don't have to be smart. So for 3 years, I held computer lit classes in my basement of the church,
Wow.
trying to teach people that you don't have to have any special set of anything. Just
Well,
understand how it works.
I'll tell you what, I'm training my 75-year-old mother tomorrow to do some of the paperwork in my business.
Hey,
And she will be, and she's used computers, and she's done that in her job, but she is 75 years old and getting ready to come back and get busy, because I'm like, you ain't gonna sit over there at home while I'm short staffed over here. And one of my employees is out sick, and she'll be out for at least a month. And so I'm like, yeah, come on over. Let me train you and show you how to do this. Some of this
exactly. Hey, because it's
stuff.
doable.
It is doable.
It's
It is.
doable. It's doable, and it keeps the mind bright. It keeps the mind bright. My G mom, I had her in my first computer class, and all I taught them how to do was play solitaire. She was good. She
Now,
loved to play solitaire.
my mom is a solitaire queen, and solitaire ain't the only game she plays. She plays free cell and
Yeah.
all games. Yes. So if you're gonna play free cell on your phone, you're gonna come on over here and get on this computer and do some data entry.
I love it. I love it. But
Yes.
that's the thing, and that's what I'm trying to do. This I have committed this 2024 to helping women 50 and over who have skill sets, how to monetize those skill sets.
Yes. Yeah.
Because the statistics say that after age 50, all of us will experience income interruption at least once.
Mm. Now that's interesting statistics.
Okay, and if you're living check to check,
Yes.
that once could be a domino effect
Yes.
of
Yes.
all types of
That's to
things
wipe you
falling.
out. Yes.
Exactly, exactly. And so I did an interview for CNBC, and it
Mhm.
was using their data that said that everybody, if you're in your 50s, that you need to be aware and you need to be thinking about how you can monetize skill sets you already have.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that speaks to that your 75-year-old relative.
Yes. And and my point is that no matter how old you are, you can learn. You're not too
Absolutely.
old to learn technology. And my 75-year-old mom will not use a bank machine. And but you can do this. You can use this computer. I can show you how.
Absolutely.
And you're never too old to learn.
No.
I did my when I went through my doctoral program, there was a lady that was 86 years old
Mm,
who did her doctorate
I
degree
love
and
it.
finished the year that I finished my doctorate degree.
I love it.
So, and there was a 94-year-old man when he started. He's an activist. He was an activist. He's passed away just recently. 94 years old, and he was driving a car that he decked out with a loudspeaker on top of it, signage on the side of it, and he drove that car all the way to Columbus at 94 years old
I love it.
to the legislature to help us protest an injustice that was happening here in Cincinnati. So you can't tell me that you're too old to do anything when that
Exactly.
man was 99 and still doing activism.
I
Still
heard
doing activism. He called me one day. We were going to court with the lady that was being railroaded here, a judge. And he called me one day and says, "What do I need to do to go to jail?
it.
Because I'm go to jail in court tomorrow."
I love it.
And you know what? You're never too old
I
to make a
love it.
difference. You're never too old to learn something new. So for anybody out there who thinks, I'm just too old to do that, there was a 100-year-old lady who on Facebook, I just saw this on Facebook. They were having her 100-year-old birthday. The woman came in there looking slim and trim, danced her way into her 100th birthday. And I said, wait a minute.
Okay. Okay.
This
Hey.
100-year-old woman. And I looked at her and said, that's going to be me. Because
Hey.
I'm working out, exercising, eating right so that I can stay fit and trim so that when I am 100 years old, I'm not ambulatory and I
Exactly.
can dance my way in my 100th birthday party.
Exactly. We here have in Chattanooga, we have the Mary Walker Towers and the Mary Walker Foundation. Mary Walker was a lady who learned to read at age 100.
Yes, see, that's what I'm saying. You're never too old. And if you
No.
continue doing things, you keep your brain healthy, young, and strong.
Yeah.
And the more you continue to do, the better it keeps those wheels turning, and it
Absolutely.
keeps you, keeps you
And exactly. One of the things that, going through my little episode of COVID that I had, brain fog.
oh yeah.
Brain fog was, and even now, every now and then, I have 2 years later, I'm having like hiccups where the brain just lays down and just flat, and I have to sit there and think, okay, what was I saying? What was I thinking? I have no idea.
You know
But,
what?
but
Go ahead.
yeah, but I love word games. I love
Mhm,
strategizing. I teach math.
mhm,
I
mhm,
teach GED math. Like
mhm.
I'm doing things to help make sure that even though it's gone through that the effects are not permanent and are not long lasting.
Yes, yes. One of the things that I experienced, I actually was experiencing brain fog for a number of years throughout my 40s. And I'm 53 now. I'll be
Hmm.
54 in February. But
Hmm.
I was experiencing brain fog and various other kinds of things, blurred vision, and I began to work out every day, drink lots of water. I cut out breads and pastas, No doctor could tell me what was going on with me
Mm,
until after, I cut out breads and pastas and stuff. And then, come to find out I have an allergy to
mm,
gluten allergy.
mm.
But on top of the gluten allergy, I was pre-diabetic.
Wow.
Never knew I was pre-diabetic until I started taking my health into my own hands
Yeah.
and doing what I needed to do. Then they wanted to start testing me to see what might have been the cause.
Yeah.
For years, no one had an answer to what might have been going on with me. So I work out every day now. I still continue to work out every day. I'm
Mm,
eating right and not eating any of those things that, cause it. I don't have the brain fog anymore.
mm.
I had joint pain throughout my body, knee pain. I thought I had carpal tunnel syndrome. They had diagnosed me. I had arthritis, which is nothing more than inflammation in the body.
Mhm.
I suffered with back pain. So I was seeing a chiropractor all the time. None of that. I don't need any of that stuff anymore.
Mm,
The only thing I'm doing different is cut out breads and pastas and all of that stuff. And sweet stuff. I drink coffee, tea, and water now.
mm.
I feel better than I felt throughout my entire 30s and my
I heard
40s.
you. I heard you. I
Mhm.
do understand. Well, so I have you by 10 years. My birthday was last week and I turned 64.
Well, happy birthday.
And thank you. And I tell you what, on this side of that experience, because I was having muscle skeleton pain, like my
Mhm.
entire framework hurt.
Yes,
And you're
yes,
talking
that's
about something that you can't get around.
yes,
Like,
yes, yes. Mine too. Mine too. I was taking glucosamine with chondroitin, which
mm,
it puts fluid on the bones because I was having bone on bone
yeah,
rubbing
yeah.
pain. I started. I'm telling you, working out every day, drinking plenty of water. I don't have any of those ailments anymore, but
I,
I was
t-
suffering.
I started walking, drinking plenty of water, and getting 8 hours a night sleep.
Oh, that's another thing. That's so important.
That
The
sleep, that
amount of
resting, so
sleep
your
you
body
get
can
is
reset.
so important. And your body is healing when you're sleeping.
Yeah,
It's losing weight and processing the food you ate during the day when you're
yeah.
sleeping. Sleep it cannot be underestimated. You're
I
right.
tell you what, those and every now and then I have to have that 2 o'clock nap. I said
Yeah.
I'll never work for somebody else because that 2 o'clock nap, it is necessary.
Yeah.
It's not necessary every day,
I
but
used to need the 2 o'clock nap, but that's another thing. When I started working out and I cut out all the breads and stuff, I don't get tired like I do anymore.
mm,
And getting enough sleep, it
yeah,
all of those things together transform my life. I think one of the things that as we're talking here and I'm thinking about is that all of this stuff goes hand in hand. How you take care of yourself, how you take care of your business, how you take care of your affairs overall, it's all tied together and it's all connected.
it
Because
is.
if you're not taking care of yourself, you're too tired, you can't work, you don't feel well, your health is bad, you're paying more for insurance and
Mm.
for medication, and your finances are struggling because of it. All of it goes hand in hand.
It does. It really does. And that's the thing as an entrepreneur that we don't think about. I went to a session. My new friend, Michelle Baker, she is a retiree from Disney World.
Mhm.
And she was over the Disney Institute and the Disney Cruise Line. And
Mm,
she did this presentation where she talked about, every morning having a routine to align yourself with the
yeah.
day. And I'm
Yes.
thinking all these things I used to do in corporate,
Yes.
like time management, I used to Franklin planner the life out of myself. Like
Yes.
I had all these strategies and schedules, and my life was in order because
Yeah.
it required it while I was working for
Yes.
somebody else, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
then now, as an entrepreneur, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I've gotten lax. I need
Yes,
to
those
get
were
back
good
to those
habits. Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were good habits. Those were good habits. And they're not only good habits for the workplace, they're good habits for life. You
Yes.
know, where I also used to be tied to my Franklin planner. But I was tied to my Franklin planner even when I worked for myself. But now I'm tied to my Google Calendar.
Yeah.
And I rely on that Google Calendar for everything.
My
I put
brain. It's my
everything
brain.
yes, I put everything in that calendar, and all of my different technology is all integrated. So,
Yep.
when I put it on my calendar on my phone, it shows up on my computer and my iPad
Yeah.
and my watch and whatever else, right? Yeah, it's
I love
important.
it. But some of those strategies and things we learned in corporate America, like I'm reintegrating those into my business
Yeah.
because they worked
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
they kept the stress down and the
Yes.
productivity up.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, stress management. That
Yeah.
is it's all part and parcel. It all matters and it
Yeah,
all counts, when it comes to being successful in business and in life. You
exactly.
got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your health and your well-being because if you don't feel good, you don't do good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so
Any area of your
that's
life.
that's so true. That is so true. So
Mhm.
yeah. So what would you like my audience to take away from this? Who should be contacting you for more information?
So I would say the people who should contact me, business owners especially, who don't have a bookkeeping system in place, who need their taxes done as well as just getting their finances in order. Anybody who has a staff or they're interested in hiring a staff, we do payroll as well, and we can help and assist with assessing your staff to make sure that you understand the people who are working for you or with you, to make sure they understand themselves, because it helps in terms of becoming more productive in the workplace. So those
Absolutely.
those folks, as well as anybody who needs training and development, we provide training for your business viewers who own a business and don't have a website. We do web design. You can go to our website at www.culturalimpact.com and learn about all of our services. Or you could go to our website at www.culturalimpact.net. It's cultural-impact.com and cultural-impact.net, and learn
Absolutely.
about, in fact it's on the screen, and learn about the services we offer. But if you don't have a website, we even provide services where you can build. We provide hosting services where and easy breezy builders where you can build your own website. People, I hear people all the time say, I can't afford a website. Well, we have, drag and drop web builders, and you can have your website, build it yourself, and host your website for as low as $2.99 a month.
Mm.
You can't afford $2.99 a month, you need to call me anyway, because you're doing something wrong
Yeah.
in your business. And the services that we offer can definitely help a business owner to scale up. So those are the services we offer. We do training and development as well. So if you sign up on our website to get on our newsletter, when we're doing trainings, you'll get a email to tell you, okay, here's the trainings that we're doing. We do trainings even with the Urban League and Small Business Development Center. We're doing one this week with the Chamber of Commerce on finances and helping people understand their financials and what that looks like in terms of productivity and profitability. And so, if you need assistance in those areas, I invite you. When you go to my website, you're going to see something at the very bottom of the page that says schedule a 30-minute free consultation with us. If you just want to talk about what your business challenges are, we can talk for 30 minutes and I'll give you a couple of tips on what you need to be doing. And then if you want, we can schedule a time, another time where we can actually get some consulting done, and we can help, with whatever your business challenges are. And those things that we cannot do, we also refer out. So, give us a call. My phone number for anybody is interested in actually calling, 513-525-6259. And I know this is live, so don't call me tonight because we're beyond business hours, but give me a call tomorrow at 513-525-6259. But yeah, I'd be more than elated to speak with anybody who has business challenges to see how we might be able to help.
And so my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the Business Plug. Thank you so much for joining us on the Business Plugs Mixer. Every Sunday here at 7 p.m. ish, we bring business topics for business people. Hope to see you next Sunday. Have a great week, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.